You know, Vinny's never really been a good dog, but he's been a real pain recently. Hi, I'm Phil.
Hi, I'm Kevin.
Welcome to Pretty Good Cooking.
Pretty good.
Tonight on the show, we're gonna teach you how to make this miso onion soup. I don't know. Are you gonna put a picture there? All right. So I saw an Instagram reel, and it was from Mob Kitchen, which is a company, and I think that they're in England land, and they don't publish all their recipes for free, but the recipe looked good, so I did mental calculus on how to reverse engineer this dish by reading their YouTube comments and watching the video. It was like a 30-second video. And I just wanted to credit Mob because that's where it came from. This is kind of it's weird because they bill this as like a roasted onion soup, but you're actually like braising the onions. And hey, by the way, I bought a new dish just for this. So I've had a roasting pan of this type on my Amazon wish list, which I share with my family at the holidays for approximately 3 to 4 years. And my birthday just passed, and I said, okay, I'm just gonna buy it. So I don't actually think you need this. You probably could just make this soup in a pot, but I thought it would be fun. So let's begin. Kevin's here. I don't know if he has anything to say. You have anything to say, Kevin?
No.
Arthur said Kevin's name for the first time today. Called him Kevin. Kebbin, which is now how you have to legally spell your name, Kevin.
It won't be misspelled more than it already is.
That's right. We're drinking High Lifes, Tall Boys, and John's drinking a Bud Light. So, what we're gonna do is chop up some onions. And Kevin, I would love your assistance with this. We just need to take the skins off and then chop them in half. It calls for 8 onions, so do all those. And then we're gonna get wild and crazy. For a depth of flavor, we're using a blend of yellow and Vidalia onions. That's right, a depth of onion flavor. And we'll, again, so as not to infringe upon our English brothers, we'll use 9 onions. I know it's been a while, Kevin, but you're supposed to like say something while you're doing work.
I am peeling the onions and chopping them in half.
Thank you, Kevin.
Again, so as to create a unique recipe, I'm gonna add a single clove of garlic to the soup. I think it would be good with garlic, but it doesn't call for it. I'm just gonna add 1 tiny little clove for fun. All right, it's my single clove of garlic.
Oh.
I'm chopping some ginger. So it's a big knob of ginger. Big knob. And I'm just chopping it to get it into the pan. This soup gets blended at the end, so you don't gotta do everything perfectly, but you will have better results if you like chop it up to an easier thing to blend. I kind of think it's a lot of ginger, but we're making a lot of soup, so I'm just gonna let that hang there. So that's 50 grams of ginger. I've got 100 grams of miso and 100 grams of butter. I'm using very fancy butter today. It came from some local farm. And I also have 100 grams of rice. The rice is an interesting addition. It's part of why I wanted to make this. So you roast the rice in with, or braise it in with everything else, and then it gets blended into the soup, which helps thicken the soup. It has breadth of rice. Over here, I'm getting the kettle on because what we're gonna do is cook these onions in the miso butter, but I'm gonna try to like dissolve the miso and butter with hot water. And before any Poindexter comes in and says, when you boil miso, you destroy the probiotic attributes and health benefits of the miso. I know that we're doing that. But we're cooking the onions in the miso so that it tastes like miso. It's for the flavor, it's not for the nutrition today. If you wanna be healthy, go have miso soup instead of this onion soup that we're making that has 100 grams of butter in it. So I'll get that boiling. I guess I could put it in the pan now, and we're gonna whisk that up when it's time. All right, I'm not letting the water boil per se, but it's getting bubbly. So here I go killing the probiotics. And I might need to add more water, we'll see. But that should be sufficient for me to be able to whisk some of this in here. We'll just let the butter melt. All right, here's our rice. We'll sprinkle it throughout. An absolutely preposterous amount of ginger. It's so much. Ew. And then Kevin's expertly cleaned onions. So in the video, or whatever, in the notes, they put the onions in before whisking. I thought that sounded like kind of a pain. But the flip side is you gotta be careful of hot water. Like, don't put your fingers in the hot water. Dummy. Okay, I think we need a little more water. Brain work good. You wanna like basically cover the onions up. I might throw another onion in there. Yeah, that looks good to me. Yeah, what the heck? Let's add another onion.
It's different than how Kevin did it.
Soup ruin.
No, it just has like yet another layer of complexity. It's gourmet. All right, here's our soup. That's right, it's soup. I do not have foil big enough to cover this, which is unfortunate. So we'll do it this way. So about half the cook time is gonna be covered and the second half is not gonna be covered. And typically, when you cook a large volume of stuff like this, you may need like a little bit of extra time, depending on how hot the water was, for example. But also, I'll show you that these pans can also be used on the stove. Probably would have made a lot more sense for me to do this before I put the foil on. But I'm just gonna blast it real quick because I want to expedite that process. So I'm gonna let that go until I hear something jiggling around in there, and I'm gonna put it in the oven. We'll be back real soon. You put it in the oven, and you be very careful because there's hot liquid in there sloshing around. Also, if you have a large pan like this, you gotta make sure the rack's low enough that it can fit in there. So we're gonna let that go for 35 minutes. And then we'll check on it. I have it at 400. I don't know what you cook it at, because I was behind a paywall that I wasn't gonna pay. We'll be back. It's been 35 minutes. Let's check those onions. It smells great. Whoa. All right, here's your formal reminder. When you're taking the hot foil off of something that's steamy, you take it from the far away part away from you so you don't die. All right, so they're cooking nicely. So from here, I'm gonna flip my onions over. It looks like maybe I put a little too much liquid in because some of them are floating, but that's also like kind of a good thing in the sense that they're cooking down, so they're like lightening up. And I would like to expedite this process, so I'm actually gonna crank the heat a little higher because those are poached but not roasted by any means. So then in it will go. I'm gonna go up to 450, which means it'll be even hotter in our kitchen. It's fine. And in it goes. Have fun, onions. And the fact that they're like poking up over the top of the water means it's gonna char up some of the tops, and that'll add some nice flavor. I'm gonna check it in 30 minutes. We'll see what's going on then. We can do a little bit more prep work. We don't necessarily need to, but we can. So we're gonna make croutons, sourdough croutons. And I got this 3-pound, 4-ounce loaf of bread from Lucky's Market. So it was at one time it was twice the size. You can use a bread knife if you want. I think that every time I use a bread knife to make croutons, I'm like, why am I doing that? Just use a regular knife. Seems to work out just fine for me. So I'm just cubing those up for croutons that we'll make a little bit later. And also for dinner tonight, we're gonna have beef bacon. Which came from Whit Farm. None of us have had beef bacon, but here's what it looks like. It's clearly beef, but it sure looks like bacon, doesn't it? Interesting. Looks really fatty too. And I like a baked bacon. So there it is. Very interesting. I'm gonna throw it in the oven. See how it goes. It's not ideal to cook bacon at 450, but it'll be fine. We'll just keep an eye on it. And also it's gonna be under that pan. It's like not a super hot part of the oven. All right, we'll be back. Okay, so here's the beef bacon, and the edge is starting to burn a little bit, so I went ahead and pulled it. It's definitely not crispy. You can see it's floppy, but I don't know if it's gonna crisp. I'm a little bit worried about that, but I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. What's the right answer, Kevin?
If you take it out of the grease, I don't know, bacon always kind of stiffens up afterwards, right?
Yeah, oh, you've convinced me. We'll just put on some paper towels. I am impressed at how greasy it is. Like even for bacon, there's a ton of grease. And you know I'm gonna retain that grease for later. We're pivoting because it's taking way too long. It's like, it's been an hour and 15 or something like that. And some of our onions are like not even, you can see some of them are cooked, but there's like cores that are completely solid. For example, this, I can like squeeze on this. It's cooking, but it could cook faster. So I think what's going on here, I didn't know how much water to put in. I tried to eyeball it. I think I put too much water, and like the water was not taking to the heat too well or something. I don't know. What I would like to see if I can find a piece of rice and see if that's cooked at all. Is the rice cooked? Oh, I think the rice is cooked. Yes. So I'm wondering, I don't know what's going on. But what I am going to do is boil this until it gets a little bit softer, and then I will blend it up. And also it will reduce some of the excess liquid. So we'll update you. I'm probably going to let this go maybe another 15 minutes or so, and we'll see what's going on. Or I'll just throw it in a blender and see if it's any good. I forgot I was also going to make those croutons, so I better just do that. We're not going to do anything too crazy with the croutons, so I'm just going to hit these with plenty of olive oil and some salt and some pepper. And we'll throw those in the oven. I'm so sad at like how poorly this is going. It's nothing like spending hours on a project that's not going the way that you would prefer. Throw those in the oven. Be back soon. Alright, let's continue this struggle bus. So the next fun thing is transferring this to a pot so we can blend it. If you wanted to use a conventional blender, that would also be fine. I'm using a measuring cup to transfer it. So I think this will be the safer way than just trying to dump it. But then again, you know, like as a parent, you can't really think any of the time because your brain doesn't work no more. But then when your child is speaking, you can think even less. It was actually much easier to pour than I thought it would be. So let's give it a blenderoni and see what happens. This is gonna take forever. Why didn't we just like chop the onions up more?
Yeah, Kevin.
Is this recipe bad? I think I've not done a great job this recipe. I feel like it should be easier to blend because the onion should be more cooked. But it is blending, like it's getting there. But yeah, this is not the same color at all as the videos. It was like there was some caramelization, and this is white. I'm gonna add some lime juice. For the folks at home, this is not going well. It's okay, like this is actually a pretty simple soup that like really I think was trying to emphasize the roasted onions, but I just totally either interpreted it wrong or like maybe the TikTok style video wasn't totally accurate of how they made the soup, but that's okay. I like the thickness, like it's a pretty nice texture, I'd say. And when we put some croutons in, I'm convinced it'll be fine. But this is not what I was going for. So we'll just try to make it work. Yeah, it's very bland. So part of what's going on is that you could add some vegetable stock. Like that was one of the things. I'm worried that's just gonna make it too thin. So like a paste might be more appropriate. I'll just see what I can find. I probably got something in here. I am a little worried about using the BTB vegetable stock, which is exactly what I'm about to do, because it's a very overpowering flavor. So I think that's gonna there's a chance that it just makes the whole thing taste like this. So I'm gonna try to be more restrained with it.
We'll give it that caramelized color.
Yeah, just put BTB in it. Hey, it looks a lot better. Wow, that actually helped quite a bit.
Dinner is saved.
Yeah, well maybe. Again, it tastes fine to me. It's just not, there's no wow factor. There's just a lot of onions. Oh yeah, okay, so I'm happier with the direction this is headed now. Good call. Thanks for telling me to go check my fridge for stock.
You got it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I am gonna add in what's left on the spoon. I feel like maybe I was too pessimistic. Maybe it just needed a little bit more cook time, and I don't know, guys. That's all I gotta say about that. It looks pretty good. I could go a little longer, but we're going to shave some Gruyere over them. This is a cave-aged Gruyere. Pop that in just for the cheese to melt a little bit. Alright, here's our soup. It probably would look fancier if we put it in a shallow soup bowl, but I'm not doing that. We'll add our crouton. It's sizzling. I like a lot of crouton. A little bit more Gruyere. And they suggested a little bit of lime zest. I don't really know if I want to do that, but I guess I will. So there's just a little hint of green. And you can also finish it with olive oil if you'd like to. A little drizzle. And there we go. That is our miso onion soup, which I don't think we did right at all, but we're gonna eat it. It's what's for dinner. All right, let's give it a try. It actually looks decent. and it is decent. It tastes like onions. That is the primary flavor. Very oniony. I think the lime actually is pretty nice in it. It's pretty delicate, I'd say. It's not bad. I definitely undersold it. I think you guys will enjoy it. I did not love that recipe, and I will never make it that way again. I think if I could go back in time and use my brain better, what I would do instead of poaching it into liquid with the miso, I just like roast the onions. Just like roast them whole, let them get really caramelized, and then like after that, blend it into the soup and then add the miso at the end. Like I don't think that there was a huge benefit for it cooking in the water and the miso. It actually tastes quite good, like at the end. Mine needs a little bit of salt. And that's how you do it. That was way longer cooking time than I was expecting, so I'm tired. I'm ready to be done filming. Bye!